Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Komal Raichura, a researcher and learner by heart and professionally a lecturer in English at Government Polytechnic Jamnagar. With over 13 years of teaching experience, I have been dedicated to shaping young minds and fostering love for literature and language. I have cleared my net and hold a PhD degree. My topic for my research was 20th century British theatre, and coming down to my research areas of interest, it's drama, applied theories, and at the same time human psychology. I have published research papers in many national and international research journals reflecting my passion for academic and continuous learning. Through my journey in education, I have mentored students, contributed to research, and explored innovative and teaching methodologies to make learning more effective and engaging. I look forward to sharing my knowledge and insight with you all. Let's embark on this journey together. I have been through these amazing papers, and I must admit that these papers added a lot of insights in different areas of knowledge. It's my privilege to chair a session for India's biggest virtual conference on Sustainable Development Goals 2030, Bridging Gaps, Building Futures for Viksit Bharat 2047. I am extremely thankful to Vedant Knowledge System Private Limited for imparting me this opportunity and congratulate them for this quite fruitful venture and many more to come. Thanks once again to everyone.
All present here for the esteemed conference Viksit Bharat at 2047. We have all gathered here to discuss India's progress towards the Sustainable Development Goals 2030. I, Aditi Shrimali, and my esteemed colleague Ms. Purnima Dave have integrated mental health sciences and psychological sciences together to discuss the crucial element of maternal mental health care. And we have also proposed a digital app as a platform for comprehensive maternal mental health care. Maternal mental health care is one crucial aspect of health and well being, and it directly impacts the SDG 3, which is good health and well being. It has direct consequences on the health of expectant and new mothers and babies, and its neglect can cause not only detrimental effects on the health of the mother, it also has disastrous consequences on the health of the unborn fetus and the child, and which can also last to the adolescent period. It can last from the neonatal stages to infancy and even up to adolescence and adulthood. Hence, maternal mental health care, which includes care at the antenatal stages and the perinatal stages, is one aspect of healthcare which is often overlooked. But if one has to, if we have to take India towards the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030, we cannot overlook maternal mental health care anymore. There are numerous barriers which women face when they try to access these healthcare services. There is the stigma associated with mental health conditions. There is a lack of awareness and acceptability in the masses related to these mental health conditions. Moreover, there is a lack of societal and familial support, which is aggravated further by societal norms and, pressures, which are often contrary to the medical advices. Hence, there are many common mental health conditions reported in mothers, such as anxiety, stress, OCD, self-harming tendency, and in severe cases, it leads to postpartum psychosis and postpartum depression. So, postpartum psychosis and depression is often talked about, but there is a huge lack of accessibility and affordability of mental health services when it comes to antenatal and perinatal stages. I now hand over the stage to my esteemed colleague, Ms. Purnima Dave, who will discuss an app which is Matri Manas, which is a digital app, which is a solution, which is our proposed solution for bridging the access of the masses to mental health care services in India. Thank you.
Hi friends, I am Purnima Dave, research scholar from JRN University, Udaipur. I am excited to present an innovative solution that addresses our SDG 3, a critical need, mental health support during pregnancy. Our app Mathi Manas is designed to empower pregnant women with tools and resources to navigate the emotional and psychological challenges of pregnancy. Key features of the app are mental health assessment, psychometric tools, counseling services, educational resources, and community support. Now, key advantages are a user-friendly interface ensure accessibility for everyone, robust security measure guarantee confidentiality and privacy, personalized treatment plans cater to individual needs, and integration with healthcare provider bridge the gap between mental and physical care. By supporting mental health during pregnancy, we are not just addressing immediate needs, we are ensuring long term benefits for mothers, babies, and families. So let's work together to make maternal mental health a priority and provide every woman with the support she deserves. Thank you.
A very nice presentation on the paper that's Matrimanas, a digital app for maternal mental health care by Aditi Shrimali, a student of psychology, and Purnima Dave, person from computer science. I must first congratulate them for having such a great thought for the concern and love for mother and the kid. Looking to the presentation and the paper, firstly, they are highlighting a crucial issue in the paper. Maternal mental health care plays a significant role in ensuring the well being of the mother and kid. Addressing it effectively is essential for India to achieve their third goal of sustainable development, that's good health and well being. Matrimanas sounds like a promising initiative leveraging digital health technologies to provide accessible and culturally sensitive support. In a country like India, where mental health stigma and resource limitations can be barriers, an app based approach could help to bridge the gap. This is a well articulated and insightful discussion on the importance of maternal mental health care in achieving the Sustainable Development Goal. Her emphasis on the interconnectedness of SDG 3, that's good health and well being, SDG 5, that's gender equality, and SDG 10, that's reducing inequality, highlights the broader societal impact of addressing maternal health care. This paper highlights the critical need for accessible and effective mental health care for pregnant and postpartum women in India. It discusses the prevalence of various mental health challenges with numerous contributing factors such as physiological challenges, emotional changes, and socio-cultural factors. It also discusses detrimental impact of such mental health condition on maternal and child well-being. The identified barriers to accessing care, including stigma, limited access to the professional, and financial constraints, further emphasizes the urgent need for innovative solutions. However, the current paper lacks empirical data. It is a conceptual framework for the development of the particular app where application is yet to be conducted in subsequent phases. But I must admit this is an amazing idea, and if implemented perfectly and particularly with the gradual development, I believe this will give a breakthrough in the mental health system. I wish both the persons our very best wishes to make this work, and this would be a great help for a country like India. Thank you very much.
Myself, Dr. Jharna Ganguly. I am HOD of Arts and Assistant Professor of Psychology in Monash University. My title is Quality of Life of Transgender in Relation to Age and Residence Area. The term transgender has been derived from the Latin word trans and the English word gender. Different sort of individuals come under this category. No particular forms of sexual orientation is meant through the term transgender. The way they behave and act differs from such people can be neither categorized as male nor female, and this deviation is unacceptable to society's vast majority. Trying to take out a dignified living is even worse. Stress is how we react when we feel under pressure or threatened. Objectives: the current study aims to test transgender's quality of life in terms of age and residence area. Method: the sample constitute total 60 transgender, out of which 30 were from age of 25 to 35 years from residence area rural and urban both, and 30 were from age of 36 to 45 years from residence area rural and urban both. Tools: quality of life scale developed by Sarika Sharma and Dr. Nakhat Nasrin. The scale consists of 42 items measuring quality of life. For example, life satisfaction, spirituality, goals and motivation, happiness, hope and wishes, stress reduction, adjustment, physical well being, and self care, personal development and frustration. Result and discussion. The results show that there is no significant difference between the mean score of high quality of life among the transgender of age 25 to 35 years and 36 to 45 years. But the lower mean score indicate slightly low quality of life among the transgender of age group 36 to 45 years, and there is significant difference between the mean score of quality of life in relation to residence area of urban and rural. Therefore, it could be said that transgender of urban group show high quality of life than transgender of rural group. Thank you.
Dr. Jharna Ganguly, the Assistant Professor of Psychology, has presented an amazing paper on quality of life of transgenders about age and residence area. The study addresses an important and unexplored issue: the quality of life of transgender individuals who often face systematic discrimination and marginalization. This is specifically a current topic of discussion after the discussion that has been done in the US also in the present times. The focus on age and residential differences adds depth, helping to identify specific challenges faced by different subgroups within the transgender community. Talking about her use of tools, the quality of life scale by Sarika Sharma and Dr. Nakat Nasreen provides a structured approach to measuring life satisfaction, stress, motivation, and well being. The inclusion of multiple dimensions like spirituality, happiness, frustration, and adjustment strengthens the comprehensiveness of the research. The sample representation by her is quite balanced, where she has equally distributed the participants across the age group from 25 to 35 years and 36 to 45 years, and residential location, where she has chosen urban as well as rural, that allows for the meaningful comprehensions and comprehensions. The analysis of age related trends and urban rural disparities provides actionable insights for the future policy interventions. The study's findings, particularly the lower quality of life in rural transgender populations, highlights the urgent need for targeted social and healthcare interventions. The results can inform policymakers, NGOs, and healthcare providers working to improve transgender rights, mental health support, and social inclusion. The study makes a valuable contribution by shedding light on the quality of life of transgender individuals, particularly in relation with the age and residential factors. However, it lacks depth in theoretical grounding, methodology, and intersectional analysis. To enhance this impact, the study can expand the sample size and diversity, incorporate theoretical framework, address methodological transparency, and include intersectional factors such as caste, education, healthcare access, or provide policy recommendation. Still, however, overall, I must say that this is a good initiative which will make breakthrough changes and support policymakers to give a due lookout in this particular area. I once again congratulate Dr. Ganguly for conducting such a great research in the initial stage. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Manav Padmani, presenting a research paper on unveiling the entrepreneurial landscape and in-depth analysis of the startup ecosystem in India at India's biggest virtual conference on SDG 2030 and Viksit Bharat 2047. This paper thoroughly examines the thriving Indian startup scene, covering a variety of subjects such as funding, the legal framework, innovation, and the entrepreneurial mindset through a thorough review of the existing literature, statistical data analysis, and case study exploration. The research sheds light on the opportunities and challenges with India's bargaining startup landscape, providing insights for entrepreneurs, investors, policymakers, and researchers alike. An entrepreneurial environment is fostered by various internal and external elements that make up a startup ecosystem. These elements include institutions like universities, financial institutions, and public sector organizations, businesses, banks, venture capitalists, business angels, and entrepreneurial processes. The Indian startup scene has advanced significantly over the past 20 years. In the 2000s, when the ecosystem was starting, it needed help from the government and aggressive investors. With the support from all quarters, the number of startups has skyrocketed in last decade. Startups in India have flocked to Bangalore, the NCR, Mumbai, and few other places. A bulk of startups in India are business-to-business operations, but there has been a steady increase in number of B2C startups, which may indicate that ecosystem is starting to mature. Definition of startup as per Government of India 2019. A company is eligible to classified as a startup if it meet following criteria according to notification issued by Indian government on February 19, 2019. Its legal form of incorporation or registration had been any of the following for a minimum of 10 years. Formally 7 years, accepted for the biotechnology sector after April 11, 2018 notification. A private limited business including one-person firms as defined under the Firm Act of 2013, as defined by the Partnership Act of 1932, a partnership firm. A limited liability partnership LLP following the 2008 LLP Act. Since its information of registration, the company's annual revenue has never topped Indian rupees 100 crore. Its scalable business model with enormous employment and revenue generating potential. Alternatively, it's an effort to innovate, develop, or improve a product, method, or services. Elements of a startup ecosystem. The following elements are good for every country's startup ecosystem. Ideas and innovation. The foundation of a startup driven by creativity and problem solving. Entrepreneurs. Visionary individuals who transform ideas into scalable businesses. team members, skilled professionals who contribute expertise to build and grow the startup. Angel investors, early stage investors who provide capital and mentorship for startups. Startup mentors, experienced professionals who guide startups through challenges and growth. Startup advisors, industry experts who provide strategic insights and business direction. Office space and infrastructure, essential resources that support operational efficiency and collaboration. Stages of a startup. Stage 1, idea or opportunity. The entrepreneur identifies a business idea, assesses its viability, forms a team, and seeks initial funding from personal networks and mentors. Stage 2, validation. Market interest is tested, feedback is gathered, and the product is refined while seeing early stage investments. Stage 3, preparations. The business model is strengthened, product development is finalized, and strategies for market entry are put in place. Stage 4, scaling the process. The startup expands through networking, hiring key personnel, structuring departments, and acquiring customers. Stage 5, profit maximization. A stable revenue stream is established, customer loyalty is built, and the company focuses on maximizing profits. Stage 6, organization. The startup becomes self-sustaining, allowing entrepreneurs to shift focus to new venture while maintaining operational stability. Literature review. Sabrina Korek analyzed the current state of the Indian startup ecosystem with three primary goals in mind: to shed light on the elements that motivate and drive the growth of Indian startups, to identify the challenges faced by Indian startups, and to identify the support system that help them overcome these challenges. N.K. Pandey dwells into the factors that impact the entrepreneurial climate in India's major cities and explores how the education, gender, and experience of the startups founders are considered when allocating first capital to help entrepreneurs take advantage of a better startup climate. The study's finding informed the development of a registration model for startup funding. Politicians and corporations are also affected by the idea. S.L. Chaudhary, M. Sinha aims to learn more about the trends driving the growth of the startup community in India. As part of its findings, the report identifies 10 key emerging trends driving the growth of the startup ecosystem in India. It also analyzes the pros and cons of each trend and provides advice on the how to leverage them to your firm's advantage. Opportunities and growth drivers. Technological advancements. Technological advancements plays a crucial role in the growth of startups by enabling automation, enhancing efficiency, and fostering innovation. Emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, blockchain, and cloud computing help startups develop scalable solutions, streamline operations, and gain a competitive edge in the market. Government support. Government initiatives and policies are vital in nurturing the startup ecosystem by providing tax benefits, regulatory aids, and funding support. Programs like Startup India, incubators, and grants help new businesses overcome initial challenges and promote entrepreneurship through a mentorship networking and skill development. Investment and funding. Investment and funding are essential for startups to scale and sustain their operations. Angel investors, venture capitalists, and crowdfunding platforms provide financial backing, allowing startups to expand, enhance product offering, and enter new markets. Access to funding helps in hiring skilled talent, improving infrastructure, and accelerating growth. Challenges for startups in India. Regulatory hurdles. Complex compliance and legal formalities slow down the business operations. Access to funding. Securing early stage investment remain a major challenge for many startups. Market competition. Intense competition from established companies and emerging startups. Talent acquisition. Finding and retaining skilled professionals is difficult due to high demand, infrastructure gaps, limited access to advanced technology, workspace, and logistic support, scaling difficulties, expanding operations while maintaining efficiency and quality is challenging. Economic uncertainty, market fluctuations, and policy changes impact business sustainability. Intellectual property issues, lack of awareness, and protection mechanism for innovation and ideas. Gender bias in startups, funding gap. Women-led startups receive only 5 to 7% of total venture capital funding in India. Representation. Less than 20% of Indian startups are founded by women. Leadership disparity. Women hold only 10 to 15% of leadership positions in the startup ecosystem. Investor bias. Studies show that investors tend to ask women more risk related questions, whereas men are asked about growth potential. Workplace challenges. 60% of women entrepreneurs report facing bias in hiring, decision making, and networking opportunities. To bridge this gap, initiatives like Women Entrepreneurship Platform and Startup India Seed Fund are working towards fostering inclusivity in the startup ecosystem. The future of startup in India. India's startup ecosystem is poised for exponential growth driven by innovation, government support, and the increased digital adoption. With over 1 lakh startups and rapidly growing number of unicorns, the country is emerging as a global hub for entrepreneurship. Key trends shaping the future include AI-driven solutions, deep tech innovations, fintech expansion, and sustainable startups. The rise of rural entrepreneurship, women-led ventures, and regulatory reforms will further accelerate the growth. Increased access to funding, mentorship programs, and policy incentives will create a more inclusive and competitive startup environment. With advancement in 5G, blockchain, and smart manufacturing, India's startup landscape will continue to evolve, fostering economic growth, job creation, and global competitiveness. Conclusion. The study's finding emphasize the significance and potential of India's startup ecosystem, driven by various factors such as growing entrepreneurial culture, improved access to capital, supportive government initiatives, and an expanding talent pool. However, it is important to consider factors such as market scalability, availability of skilled labor, and regulatory complexity. Collaboration among academics, businesses, professionals, government officials, and startup community are crucial to preserve and enhance this ecosystem. India can unlock its startup ecosystem's immense potential by fostering an environment that encourages innovation, improving access to resources, and addressing regulatory challenges. This can lead to significant technological advancement, job opportunities, and economic growth. Thank you.
Unveiling the entrepreneurial landscape, an in depth analysis of the startup ecosystem in India, and a quite relevant and very important discussion initiated by Manav Padmani, an independent researcher from Kalori. In the age where Shark Tank is one of the leading program going on and quite watched by the young minds, this particular topic chosen by this particular researcher actually requires quite attention. So I begin with congratulating him for choosing such a great topic. The paper effectively examines multiple dimensions of the Indian startup ecosystem, including funding mechanisms, that's venture capital, angel investors, government schemes, at the same time, legal and regulatory frameworks like Startup India, tax policies, compliances requirement, innovative drivers like technology, digital platforms, R&D, and at the same time, entrepreneurial mindset that's risk-taking, adaptability, and leadership. The broad scope provides valuable insight for the various stakeholders entrepreneurs, investors, policymakers, and researchers. The study integrates literature review, statistical data analysis, case studies, ensuring a well rounded and evidence based discussion. The combination of quantitative data driven insight and qualitative, that is, real world case studies, method enhances the depth and at the same time applicability. The paper, however, lakes a bit of a things that it doesn't celebrate the start of boom. Actually, it critically just analyzes or examines the obstacles like regulatory hurdles, access to funding for the early stage startups, scalability, sustainability, market competition, or economic uncertainty. This balanced approach, adds to the credibility also that it just doesn't throw lights on the brighter side but also shows the limitations. So the paper provides a strong foundation for understanding the Indian startup ecosystem with comprehensive research methods, balanced discussion, the policy relevance, and many more. However, to enhance the depth and impact, just few minor suggestions that it could benefit from more recent and sector-specific data to reflect the current trends, comparative global analysis for the benchmarking India's startup growth, or at the same time a deeper exploration of the entrepreneurial mindset in India. Still, overall, the paper actually focuses on a very important aspect that's being an entrepreneur, where we are going discussing about making India or making India the superpower. This particular topic holds the most important ground. So I must congratulate once again the researcher Manav for initiating an important discussion, and I wish him all the best to make it further, deeper, and more fruitful. Thank you very much.
Namaskar. I am Dr. Aditi Pareek, working as Senior Assistant Professor at ISD University, Jaipur. Today I am here to present my presentation on empowering minds, shaping futures, the role of academia in building a Viksit Bharat at 2047. This year, 2047 holds immense significance for India as it marks the 100th anniversary of the nation's independence. This milestone provides an opportunity to reflect on the progress made since 1947 and envision a future that reflects the aspirations of a prosperous, inclusive, and globally influential India. The vision of Viksit Bharat at the rate 2047 is a comprehensive framework that envisions India as a developed nation with strong economic growth, social equity, and global leadership. Central to the realization of this vision is the country's education system, particularly higher education, which plays an essential role in driving innovation, socio-economic development, and building a knowledge based economy. At the heart of this transformation lies academia, which is tasked with shaping the intellectual, cultural, and ethical framework of society. Higher education institutes are not only places of learning, but are also the incubators of ideas, creativity, and progress. These institutions are vital for nurturing the next generation of leaders, entrepreneurs, researchers, and citizens who will drive the nation's development. The role of academia in realizing the vision of Viksit Bharat is particularly critical in the context of India's rapid economic growth, changing socio-political landscape, and the evolving needs of a globally competitive world. Jaipur, the capital city of Rajasthan, serves as a microcosm of India's larger educational aspirations. Over the years, the city has evolved into an educational hub that hosts a diverse range of institutions that blend traditional Indian values with cutting edge global practices. The city is home to prestigious institutions such as deemed to be University, Malviya National Institute of Technology, and the University of Rajasthan, which exemplify the dynamic intersection of innovation, research, and social responsibility. IS University, in particular, has emerged as a significant player in shaping the educational and social economic landscape of Jaipur and beyond. The university is known for its commitment to academic excellence and its focus on empowering students to become agents of change in their community and the world by providing an innovative curriculum, fostering research, and encouraging entrepreneurship. The institution's emphasis on inclusivity and sustainability aligns closely with the broader goals of achieving a Viksit Bharat by 2047 as it strives to create a knowledge driven economy that addresses the challenges of poverty, inequality, and environmental sustainability. This paper explores the role of higher education institutions in Jaipur with a focus on IS University in driving India's development trajectory towards the Viksit Bharat vision by 2047. It examines the initiatives undertaken by these institutions to align with national goals, including research, social engagement, and collaborations with industries. The objectives of my research paper are to analyze the role of higher education institutions in achieving the vision of Viksit Bharat at the rate 2047, to examine the contributions of ISDM to university and other institutions in Jaipur toward fostering innovation, inclusivity, and sustainability, to identify challenges faced by academia in ensuring access to quality education and promoting equitable development, propose strategies for enhancing industry academia collaborations, research output, and use of technology in higher education. The research questions are: what is the role of research higher education institutions in realizing the vision of Viksit Bharat at the rate 2047? How do IS University and other academic institutions in Jaipur contribute to national development through research, innovation, and social responsibility? What challenges do higher education institutions face in promoting inclusivity, sustainability, and equitable access to quality education? What strategies can be implemented to strengthen industry academic linkages and align academic programs with the needs of a knowledge based economy? How can technology and interdisciplinary research be leveraged to enhance the global competitiveness of Indian academic institutions? The research methodology examine the role of academia in building a developed India by 2047. The paper employs a mixed methods approach combining qualitative and quantitative research methodology. Methodology includes literature review, case study, interviews and surveys, data analysis. The case study highlights the higher education institutions in Jaipur. IS deemed to be university that was established in the year 1995 and has rapidly grown into one of Jaipur's premier educational institutions, particularly recognized for its pioneering role in women's education. The university has made significant strides in creating an inclusive, dynamic, and innovative academic achievements. As university stands out for its commitment to empowering women and contributing to the broader goals of national development, particularly in alignment with the Viksit Bharat vision for a prosperous, inclusive, and globally competitive India by 2047. Women empowerment. The IS University is a trail- trailblazer in women's empowerment within higher education. As a women centric institution, it not only provides academic opportunity but also focuses on equipping women with the leadership and entrepreneurship skills. The university offers specialized programs designed to nurture future leaders across diverse sectors from business and management to technology and engineering. The university's commitment to women's empowerment is reflected in its comprehensive range of entrepreneurship workshops, leadership training programs, and career development initiatives. Additionally, university frequently hosts workshops, seminars, and networking events that provide students with opportunity to interact with industry leaders, mentors, and successful entrepreneurs. University actively encourages students to take on leadership roles in both academic and extracurricular activities. As university is deeply committed to social responsibility, community engagement programs that seek to address various societal and issues and promote sustainable development. The university's outreach programs include initiatives such as health camps, literary drives, and environmental awareness programs in rural and underdeveloped areas. Health camps organized by the university provide essential medical services, screenings, and consultations to underreserved population and regions. The university's literacy drives, the university's environmental awareness campaigns, community engagement programs, social response opportunities to discuss the social responsibility and citizenships. The challenges that are faced by the that are faced in achieving the vision of Viksit Bharat, access and equity, quality of education, funding and infrastructure, global competitiveness, and the strategies for empowering academia are promoting research and development, strengthening industry, academia linkages, leveraging technology, fostering inclusivity. So, to conclude my research paper, I would like to say that the journey towards achieving the vision of Viksit Bharat is inextricably linked to the growth and transformation of academia, which serves as the bedrock for a nation's progress. Higher education institutions are not merely centers for knowledge dissemination, they are the architects of the nation's future, shaping the minds, attitudes, and capabilities of the youth. These institutions have the unique responsibility of empowering students with the skills, knowledge, and values to drive the innovation and inclusivity. Thank you.
Empowering minds, shaping futures. The role of academia in building a Viksit Bharat 2047 are a very nice topic chosen by Dr. Aditi Pareek, Senior Assistant Professor at IIS Jaipur. The paper aligns with India's long term development vision of becoming a developed nation by 2047. The emphasis on higher education as a driver of intellectual, social, and economical growth is well founded and well researched. The focus on Jaipur's higher education institutes, particularly IIS, that is Deemed University, provides a localized yet insightful perspective by showing how an institute bridges tradition and modernity. The study highlights how education can integrate heritage with global achievements and advancements. The paper examines key aspects of academic transformations, including innovation in education, research contributions, community engagement, industry academia collaboration, and many more. Addressing these dimensions offer a holistic understanding of the role of academia in national development. By discussing equality, accessibility, and sustainability, the paper aligns with India's goals in the higher education reform, that's NEP 2020, a very important aspect, bridging socio-economical disparities and promoting global competitiveness. While the paper mentions challenges like access to the quality education, inequalities, it does not actually deeply analyze them. A section exploring practical solutions such as policy recommendations, digital learning initiatives, or funding models would have enhanced the study and the understanding in a quite better and much deeper way. However, the paper provides a strong conceptual framework for understanding the role of higher education in India's journey towards Viksit Bharat 2047. I must congratulate ma'am once again. At the same time, I must request to enhance this particular study a bit further to make it an amazing contribution for the implementation of NEP 2020 and make it more fruitful. Thank you very much once again for this, for choosing such an insightful topic.
Good morning, everyone. Today I am going to speak on the topic evaluating mental well-being and environmental sustainability in Indian stories. Mental well-being is a very important component of mental health. It is defined as the positive state of emotional, psychological, and social health. The Indian conception of mental well-being is found in the Kosha theory and Purusharth. The Kosha theory has been given in Taittiriya Upanishad, and it says that there are 5 koshas. The innermost kosha is the ultimate bliss or the Anandmaya kosha, which is covered by 5 layers. The outermost layer or kosha is the Annamaya kosha, followed by Pranayam kosha. The third layer is Manomaya kosha, and the fourth layer is of Vigyanmaya kosha. It is important to cross these 4 layers to experience Anandmaya kosha. There is a other very important concept which is known as Purusharth. Purusharth means every human being has 4 goals to follow in his life. These Purusharth are Arth, Kam, Moksha, and Dharma. Moksha is the Param Purusharth, and these are the 4 goals pursued by any human being. Environmental sustainability is a very important component of mental well-being and also an important sustainable development goal. Hence, it is important to know what do our Indian philosophical text and Indian literature tells about environmental sustainability. For example, Buddhism talks about ahimsa in maintaining environmental sustainability. The methodology of this study is given in the following slides. The aim of the study is to explore the Jataka tales for understanding mental well-being and environmental sustainability. The objectives of the study are to examine a sample of Jataka tales for mental well-being and as well as environmental sustainability. This research study has 1 hypothesis and 2 research questions. The hypothesis is that there will be a difference in the characteristics at different levels of mental well-being. The research question 1 is how is mental well-being understood in Jataka tales, and research question 2 is how is environmental sustainability understood in Jataka tales. The sample which has been taken are 30 Jataka tales, which has been published by Amar Chitrakatha, which has been purchased and which is available in English language and is in the printed format. The data analysis which has been done is the content analysis and reflexive thematic analysis. The ethical consideration has been taken in this research study as audit trails have been maintained while doing the analysis. The results are shown in 2 figures. Figure 1 is the thematic map which analyzes the mental well-being, and figure 2 is the thematic map which analyzes the environmental sustainability. So this figure which you are seeing is a thematic map of mental well-being. 4 superordinate themes have been found, which is the lower mental well-being, consequences of lower mental well-being, characteristics of higher mental well-being, and techniques to attain higher mental well-being. The subordinate themes of lower mental well-being is tamas guna, using the outer 2 koshas and only pursuing artha and kama. Consequences are adharma, short-term gains, and an evil end. The higher mental well-being is achieved by following the path of dharma or the eight, and Buddhism also tells about the eightfold path of truth. The techniques for higher mental well-being is inculcating virtues, gaining insight, and using buddhi and wisdom in life circumstances. The next thematic map is about the environmental sustainability. The superordinate themes are the features and the steps. The subordinate themes of features is coexistence and friendship. Here, the coexistence means the human-animal coexistence and friendship between them. These are the signs of environmental sustainability. The steps taken to maintain environmental sustainability is to inculcate environmental behavior in the population as well as to make them aware about the environmental needs. Thus, this research study proves the hypothesis that there is a difference in the characteristics of lower and higher mental well-being. Dharma is an important component of mental well-being, and the techniques which can be used to attain higher mental well-being is insight and practicing virtues. Harmony in human animal coexistence for environmental sustainability is very important, and the methods which can be used to attain environmental sustainability is to change the behavior as well as to increase awareness among people about the environment. The implications of the study is that this research study shows that Indian methods, which has been given in the Indian philosophical text and literature, can be effectively used to attain the two sustainable development goals. The limitation of the study is that it uses only quantitative methods, and the future research can use mixed methods research, and they can also find out ways to implement these techniques effectively. These are the references. That's all. Thank you for listening to me and giving me this particular opportunity.
Ms. Alka Ranjan, Assistant Professor at Jain, that's a Dean to the University, Bangalore, have chosen again a very important aspect about mental health care in her research paper that's evaluating mental well-being and environmental sustainability in Indian studies. A very nice topic, ma'am, and quite interesting too. The paper takes an innovative approach by examining mental well being and environmental sustainability through the lens of Indian studies, particularly Jataka tales. These are the stories that have been discussed and taught to kids, children, but maybe this particular angle was never explored till depth. It effectively integrates Indian psychology, spirituality, and dharma, offering a culturally relevant perspective. The research successfully combines psychology, environmental science, and literary analysis, providing a holistic understanding of well being. The inclusion of spiritual aspects with Indian transitions and traditions, differentiating it from Western psychological frameworks. The content and thematical analysis method helps in identifying recurring patterns and meanings within the text. The categorization of superordinate themes like lower or high mental well being, consequences, techniques, mental health, sustainability features enhances the clarity and depth. The study highlights indigenous methods that could be integrated into modern lifestyle to promote mental health and sustainability. It aligns with SDG goals, making the research globally relevant. While the study provides valuable insights, it does not incorporate empirical data and qualitative or quantitative analysis. including case studies or surveys or psychological assessment, could have validated the findings and increase the credibility. The paper relies only on Jatak Katha but does not include any other Indian literary sources like we have Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, Panchtantra, Hitopadesh. The study suggests that Indian traditional wisdom can influence lifestyle changes, but it does not specify how these changes can be implemented in contemporary society. However, overall the paper offers a valuable insight and a breakthrough, a new insight or way of analyzing and understanding these stories that have been told and passed on to the generations and the kids in a very early stage. Utilizing this and a better way can make a breakthrough change. So I once again congratulate Alka ma'am for choosing such an amazing topic and giving a new insight in this particular area. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Hello, I'm Priya Srikanth Rao, research scholar in Department of Clinical Psychology, Jesus Medical College, Mysore, currently working as a special educator at St. Joseph's Boys High School, Bangalore. My presentation is a systematic review on effectiveness of interventions to train attention of children with learning disabilities. Studies show that the prevalence of learning disabilities in India is 1 to 19% in school-going children. The proposed research is in line with the NEP goals and aims, which stresses on leaving no child behind and making new Indian education system as child-centric and inclusive as possible, at the same time scaffolding children with learning disabilities. This proposed study will help understand the need to find effective strategies to train cognitive areas like attention in children with learning disabilities to aid their learning and coping skills in order to achieve academic goals successfully. Attention, which seems like a simple, effortless process, is a core construct for most of the higher order cognitive operations and definitely an integral part of the entire learning process and quite complex in its entirety. So, what is attention? Bornstein defined it as a sum of many processes like decision making, motor orienting, information processing via multiple sensory channels. The modern theories on attention can be classified based on different types of attention. According to Kaur, attention can be fractionated quite comprehensively into the following four subprocesses: attentional orientation, selective attention, divided attention, and sustained attention. Morskin's model of attention divides attention into four factors: focusing, executing, sustaining, stabilizing, encoding, and shifting. This model can be used to effectively explain the deficits in attention and how it is manifested in a child with LD. The child with LD has difficulty in focusing his attention on relevant instruction required to conduct a task given in exclusion of all other vying stimuli. Generally is not able to sustain attention on some aspect of the task until completion. He or she does not have the same amount of stable attention at all times while performing the task from start to finish, and hence attention is most likely to vary from time to time, hindering the task, and finally has difficulty in shifting from one idea to another and from one aspect of the task to another to complete the task or move on to another one. In recent years, research on learning disabilities has been ventured into with a multidisciplinary approach. When we consider the inclusionary viewpoint in defining LD, it is very evident that cognitive processes like attention and working memory play a very significant role in LD. The visual system's top-down attentional network plays a crucial role in reading, and any deficits can lead to developmental dyslexia. There is high prevalence of dysgraphia in children with ADHD. Hence, attention does play a very crucial role in writing. Thereby, the goal of this scoping review is to find out the different tests used to measure attention in children, different cognitive training techniques used to improve attention in children with learning disabilities, their effectiveness, limitations, and need for further research in this area. The information about design, participants, methods of intervention, etc. was extracted as recommended by PRISMA guidelines with the help of a predetermined protocol in order to maintain consistency and rigor throughout the scoping review. The current review including studies with intervention in attention in children with learning disabilities. Articles with children having intellectual disabilities, autism, or not having samples as children below or between the age group of 5 to 12 years were not included. Only those studies which were in English were selected. The studies with inconclusive results were discarded. A total of 880 studies was found based on keywords given, out of which 10 met the inclusion criteria and were included in this review. An analysis of the selection criteria is seen in the table given below. The training techniques and interventions used in the studies varied in their methodology and approach. It can be noticed that mainly two types of intervention techniques were used, computerized and non-computerized techniques. The various techniques used emphasizes the different aspects of attention affecting the child with learning disabilities. A detailed analysis of the techniques used for measuring and training attention in children with learning disabilities is given here. These studies were designed based on the supposition that children with learning disabilities have impaired attention, and training in attention aided improvement in academic skills of the children with learning disabilities. Now, 5 studies could provide evidence for this. The studies differed in the rate of effectiveness of the techniques used for intervention. The different attention training interventions targeted varied aspects of attention. Most of these studies differed in the number of sessions and time involved in training attention. Although these studies demonstrate that attention training techniques are quite effective, before any conclusions can be drawn, there were several fundamental limitations regarding the design of attention training programs that needed to be addressed. Most of the studies lack blinding, which increase the risk of bias. Most of the studies had small sample size, often leading to overestimated effects. Only one had a follow-up design, which underscored the far transfer of the targeted intervention. The studies also displayed other limitations like shorter training periods, lack of clarity in the interventions used, and failure to consider other variables affecting attention, like physical conditions of the participants, emotions, interest level, sleep quality, etc. These limitations emphasizes the need to improve the study design and methodology in future research. Hence, further research is required in developing both computerized and non-computerized interventions for attention training of children with learning disabilities. This article focused mainly on articles published in English language. The databases other than Google Scholar and PubMed were not scanned for the review. Only free articles were studied, hence paid articles were not scanned for the review. In conclusion, attention has always been an integral part of teaching and learning process. Hence, attention studies have always shown that improvement in attention is positively correlated to learning, which is even more true for children with learning disabilities. This review paved the way to understand the different training techniques that could be used to train children with learning disabilities attention and their efficacy. Thank you.
Effectiveness of the interventions to train attention of the children with learning disabilities. A systematic review by Priya Srikanth Rao and Dr. Manoj Pandey. Before initiating, I must appreciate both the people working with the clinical psychology, JSS Academy of Higher Education and Research, Mysore, for attending this particular topic as it actually requires their attention. Once again, congratulations for working on this particular topic. The paper clearly states its objective, what they are trying to do. Given the critical role of the attention in learning and cognitive development, this study is highly relevant to the educators, psychologists, and at the same time policymakers. The use of systematic literature searches across the multiple databases like Google Scholar, Scopus, Web of Science makes this study quite reliable and credible. At the same time, the adherence to PRISMA guideline ensures the transparency and rigor in the selection, extraction, and at the same time synthesis of the studies. The review considers both computerized and non-computerized interventions, making the analysis inclusive and broad. The global representation of the studies highlights widespread interest in the study, at the same time generalizability of the findings. The review confirms that attention training interventions can improve attention deficit in children with learning disability, offering empirical support for cognitive training programs. The discussion on academic outcomes strengthens the practical implications of the attention training in the real world educational settings. While the paper acknowledges diverse methodologies, something that I found missing was the comparison in specific interventions in depth. A comparative analysis of the effectiveness, like computerized techniques versus non-computerized, or maybe different tools, might add more clarity to the understanding where people do not belong to this particular field. Addressing which intervention works best for the specific type of learning disabilities like ADHD, like dyslexia, might add more to this particular research or review. The paper mentions a small size of samples and at the same time short duration. Maybe because of the lack of time in the preparations, but I mean, the discussion is very amazing, quite fruitful and enriching. So I wish both the researchers a very best of luck, and maybe with the time, if you give more detailed analysis with a few more samples, I think this would be the best piece of work for the policymakers to make a breakthrough. Once again, I would like to congratulate Priya ma'am, at the same time Manoj Pandey, Dr. Manoj Pandey, for making this breakthrough research work. Congratulations both of you. Thank you.
Greetings to the authority. My name is Swathi. I'm from Chanakya University, Bangalore. I'm currently pursuing BA second year in Political Science and International Relations. So today my paper is gonna be on mental health in India, a comparative analysis of mental health policies. Uh, the focus of the paper is breaking the stigma for a healthier workforce by 2047. Going on to the paper, what is mental health? Mental health refers to a person's emotional, psychological, and social well being. It affects how people think, feel, and behave in their daily life. Mental health also influences how individuals handle stress, relate to others, one another, and make decisions. So in India, mental health problems are widespread, with approximately 197 million people experiencing issues such as depression, anxiety, severe condition like schizophrenia. Despite the large number of people affected, the mental health care system faces significant challenges, which I'm going to talk about. One of the major issue in mental health policies or programs in India is the treatment gap, which means that many individuals uh, who need care to who need cares do not receive it. So in India, the gap is around 70%, that the majority of people with mental health condition do not have access to the necessary care or services. So the current scenario in India related to the policies is that the first one is Mental Health Program, which was launched in 1982. So this program is to make mental health services available at community level. It aims to integrate mental health care with general healthcare services to ensure access. So the second one is the Mental Health Care Act 2017 is another important measure in mental health system. This law protects the rights of individuals with mental illness by ensuring access to mental health services, prohibiting discrimination, and promoting their rights to live with dignity. Another component under National Mental Health Program is the District Mental Health Program, which delivers mental health services at district level. It focuses early detection and treatment of mental health issues to address them before they get worsened. So these policies and program are present in Care of India, but challenges remain in their implementation and the reach. So how I put it out in the paper is that I compared our India's policies with Switzerland's and USA. Switzerland is one of the countries which has proper guideline and policies for mental health. Same goes for USA. So the graph which you are seeing here is the comparison of the availability of mental health professionals like psychologists or psychiatrists and social workers. So in India, Switzerland, and USA, India has alarmingly low numbers with less than one professional per 1 lakh people in all categories. So on the other hand, Switzerland and USA, as you can see, have significantly better number compared to India. So Switzerland also maintains a healthy balance of professionals. This shows a very severe shortage of mental health professionals in India, which we would talk about in the next one. This is another graph of this graph shows how much of the total health budget is spent on mental health. In India, it's almost nothing compared to other countries. So it's showing a huge lack of priority for mental health care. As seen, Switzerland leads with over 10% of its health budget dedicated to mental health, while the US allocates 5%, which is still far better than India. This clearly indicates that India must increase its mental health budget to address the growing mental health crisis and improve lives of the citizens. The next graph is the difference between the treatment gap, the percentage of people who need mental health care, but they don't receive it. So India has treatment gap over 70%, as I mentioned earlier, meaning the majority of people in need are left untreated. So Switzerland has the smallest gap, ensuring that almost everyone gets the care. The USA falls in between, but it's still far ahead of India. So this shows that India should focus on accessibility and affordability to close the treatment gap and provide better mental health support. While writing this paper, I'm looking at the relevance of SDG, good health and well-being. This focus on ensuring that all people live healthy lives and have access to well-being at every stage of life. So mental is an important part of this goal because it affects people's ability to work, their quality of life, and well-being of society as a whole. So addressing mental health issue helps achieve HCG 3, such as reducing early deaths from diseases that are not infectious, promoting mental health, and providing health coverage for everyone. By improving mental health care, India can reach these goals and build a healthier, more productive society. Measures which I have mentioned to enhance and achieve SDG 3 are universal access to mental health services. Services available to everyone by including them in the primary healthcare system. This will make services easier to access, more affordable. The second one is data-driven policies, same as improve systems for collecting mental health data to gather reliable informations. PPP, the public-private partnership, work together with private companies and NGOs to improve mental health infrastructure and provide more resources. Community-based intervention is a trained community health workers to provide basic health support to spot mental health problems early. International collaboration, learn from successful strategies used as I compared USA and Switzerland. Digital health innovations use technologies like AI and telemedicine to provide affordable mental health services, especially in remote areas. So the comparative analysis part in the paper that I have written is under three parameters, which is the emotional, psychological, and social well-being. So I've taken these three as my main parameters, and under those three parameters, I have written other sub-parameters where I can um, measure and give my framework for the India. So how does this work is that emotional, psychology, and social are important, as I mentioned earlier. Emotional well-being is about recognizing and managing emotions in a healthy way. It includes the ability to handle stress, recovers from challenges, and maintain balance in feelings. Psychological well-being is focused on one person's mental state and how they view themselves and their lives. Social well-being is about building and maintaining relationships, being part of a community. So as I said earlier, the table which is under emotional, psychological, and social well-being is clearly written in the paper. Here, the dimension I have put under emotional well-being is self-awareness, emotional regulation, resilience, optimism, stress management, satisfaction, emotional balance. So these are under emotional well-beings. Under psychological well-being, it's self-acceptance, personal growth, autonomy, purpose in life, environmental mastery, positive relationship, cognitive functioning, and everything else. It's under psychology and well-being. Social well-being is social integration, social contribution, acceptance, actualization, support, communication, inclusion in the community is under social well-being. So these are written clearly in the paper, how I compare this and propose a framework to work on and improve the mental health system of India. So I also I have a comparative table of India's, Switzerland's, and USA's programs related to emotional, psychological, and social well-being, where I'm giving features of every program and seeing where we can do better in the mental health system in India. Thank you for your time and patience. This is a very basic crust of the paper. I would like you all to see the paper to understand the basic system of mental health in India and how we can improve it further. Thank you.
Mental health has always been a challenge, specifically in a country like India when it is connected to a stigma. I must appreciate that one of the youngest scholar in the batch has chosen this particular topic. So I begin with congratulating Swathi, a second year BA student, for choosing a particular topic on mental health in India, comparative analysis of mental health policies, breaking the stigma for a healthier workforce by 2047. The paper effectively highlights the growing burden of mental health disorder in India and the urgent need for a systematic improvements. By linking mental health to the workforce productivity and economic growth, the study adds practical significance to the discussion. The comparison of India's mental health policies with Switzerland and USA strengthened the study by providing global best practices in India's mental health framework, policy gaps and shortcomings, insights into the successful mental health integration within public healthcare system. The approach broadens the perspective and offers a foundation for policy recommendations. Linking the study's objective with SDG 3 gives it an internationally recognized framework, ensuring its policy relevance. The goal of achieving a mentally healthier workforce by 2047 aligns well with India's vision of Viksit Bharat. The paper clearly identifies key barriers such as social stigma, preventing individuals from seeking help, limited accessibility to the mental health care, particularly in the rural areas, inadequate mental health workforce like psychiatrists, psychologists, counselors, and at the same time, acknowledging these barriers grounds the study in real world challenges. This paper presents a crucial discussion on India's mental health policies and their alignment with the global best practices. However, to enhance the depth, credibility, and impact, it could benefit from stronger empirical backing with up to date mental health statistics, a deeper exploration of implementation challenges within the Indian healthcare system, cultural and economical considerations while applying international policy models, and at the same time specific actionable recommendations for the policymakers, employers, or educators. However, on the ground of comparison, between these nations and at the same time providing data about the problems or the limitations of mental health care challenges, the paper gives excellent knowledge. So I once again congratulate the research scholar, that's Swathi, for doing an amazing work on the research. Further, you can add up to the things that I have mentioned earlier to make it more relevant, where it's about taking action to solve the problem. You have given a detailed and a very refined analysis of the problem. So, congratulations and amazing rigor. Keep doing and keep working.